Full confession, I used to hate winters, but now I don't, because all you really need to do is prepare for it.
So we have two different stone grinders. There's one outside of the camera view behind you. That's our pre-grind for Nordic. It's actually our finish grind for Alpine, but it's our pre-grind for Nordic. We have the only combination of a certain diamond and stone in the country in this machine.
I've generally been too lazy or too cheap to get my skis tuned up every year, but that changes this year. Time to turn my comfortably worn skis into high-performance machines. And with the recent addition of Olympic cross-country skier Don Semino to their staff, I'm thinking gold. Or not.
Not all grinds are created equal. So what do we do after the ski comes off that machine? It's flat, and this is just my final pass. It just takes a single pass to put the structure that I want onto the ski on it. And it's pretty simple-ish.
Yeah, right.
This is a pretty complex little computer program here. I've got tons of different grinds that are programmed into it. We cool our water, which I don't think anybody else in Oregon is doing, and that helps with keeping the water temperatures low. We're essentially grinding on plastic. When the temperature comes up in the water bath, you essentially start smearing plastic. So we want to be able to cut plastic, and to do that, you keep the water cold.
And speaking of cold, there is no bad weather, just wrong clothing choices.
In this type of climate, function over fashion, where a lot of times you want to look cool, but it's so much more about being warm and being dry. Base layers are really important. It's what's touching your skin, what makes you feel comfortable and warm. A puffy layer on top of that, which really locks in the heat for me. And then I think the most important thing is going to be your outer layers. I like to go with a hard shell. It's both really dry and it protects you from the wind. Feet are, for me anyways, a big one. Once my feet start getting cold, I'm going into the lodge. Glove-wise, making sure you have like a waterproof glove is really important, and then I double layer my gloves. And then a necky. A lot of people think that, just because you have your helmet and goggles on and your jacket that you're fully protected, but usually it leaves this like layer from your neck to your nose that gets really cold. And so any type of like a baklava, a neck warmer that you can kind of just put your face in, it's really nice for while you're riding down or while you're on the chairlift. Choosing gear that keeps you warm and dry makes the whole experience like a lot more enjoyable.
For the first time in several years, we're staring at an El Nino winter. But what does that mean for Central Oregon? Well, I thought it was time to check in on an old friend for the answer to that question.
To be honest, El Nino is one of those catch-all blame games when it comes to the weather community. It's an oscillation that's out in the Pacific Ocean, and we measure with a huge array of buoys that go from the coastline of the Americas to the Philippines. What it really means for us, that moisture stream is going to be further to the south, and we're actually going to see near or above normal temperatures. So it's not going to change too much of how much precipitation we're going to get, rather what type of precipitation. Instead of being way above normal, we're gonna be near or below normal when it comes to precipitation. But on the flip side of that, when it comes to El Nino versus La Nina or neutral years even, all it takes is one or two systems that are really strong, or the lack of one or two strong systems to put us into a super active, atypical El Nino year. So really it's still a coin flip, but if you're asking me to throw out a forecast, I'm gonna say warmer than normal and less snow in the mountains.
So when it comes to the winter forecast, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell you every winter, whether it snows a lot or a little. Learning to love winter truly changed my life and could change yours too. For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm meteorologist Scott Elness.